The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaraya Productions.
I wish we had alcohol for this.
I was about to say that. I was like, we should actually have booze for this.
Pretend. Episode 79.
Mm-hmm.
This time we're not exactly doing a Toku show. We're doing
Not
much
really.
more of a sitcom
Yes.
type show. But it's Toku related.
Mhm.
Not Tokusatsu Gaga. That might happen sometime in the future. I'm not 100% sure. But we're doing Kampai Senshi After V. Which is a show that, as you can see, Jacob and I greatly enjoy. Or, to an extent.
Yeah.
But Matt doesn't, so he's not here.
Yes.
But yeah, Kampai Senshi After V is split in 2 seasons. It's one of the, since it's a parody show, it can actually do that. And I think I appreciate it all the more for it. Because I greatly enjoyed, especially coming into season 1 when it was airing. Because I'm
Which you and I watched when it was airing.
Yeah, we did. And it was just like, this is great. It's so.
I remember watching this in our dorm, in our apartment living room in college, and you and I just loved what we were seeing
Because it's so cheap in the best way possible.
It is cheap in the best way possible. I mean, if we do we want to start with the opening?
Yeah.
Like we use. Okay, so it's very Showa-esque.
Yeah, it's a show.
I noticed that. Like, not only from the costumes, they look very like Gogo 5 Denzi Man-esque. Like, they don't even look like they're made of spandex.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the cloth ones that like don't quite fit right. and the helmets look like Party City plastic helmets.
Yeah.
It looks so cheap. We you get this like upbeat like Showa era song that's playing.
Of them, I love the opening, like
And,
actual scenes in the background because it's them punching people.
Yeah, Red is the one you see punch a minion, and
But the punch is
the punch doesn't connect by about 4 feet.
I love it.
But
They try to do forced perspective and then they just force it, and it's great.
Yeah, and so that, and we see like their giant robot, and it has like sparklers on its
It has
legs.
strings on it.
It
while
has like
it's flying.
strings, and it's just out like.
I love
And
it.
there's sparklers on the feet that make it look like engines. It is.
Where their budget?
This is a Showa era Sentai on a budget of $2.
It's so good because of that.
But it's great.
Now we do
To be fair, the budget for this show really went to the actors
and the alcohol.
and the alcohol. but mostly I'm going to say the actors because they're all great.
It's oh god, I just love how they actually have some legitimate comedians in this.
Yeah,
show,
because
especially
Yellow
Green.
is Buffalo Goro A, who is part of a comedy duo,
Yeah,
professional comedian.
and I believe Green is also a comedian.
Because he's credited as, it's his name and then in parentheses, Rubber Girl.
Yeah.
Which I guess is his stage name.
Mm-hmm.
So he might be a comedian. And then we have Pink, who is a pop star. And then we have Red and Blue, who are Kamen Rider actors.
Yeah, Red
is Yusuke Onodera, AR World Yusuke Kuga from Decade. And then Blue is Kamen Rider Drake.
from
Kabuto.
Kabuto.
From Kabuto.
I love their personality types as well because they're supposed to fit them.
They are supposed to be the trope, and Red is kind of like, he kind of reminded me of Magi Red. He's younger, more inexperienced, adjusting to his role of being team leader. But he's into it a little bit too much.
I wouldn't say that he's like more inexperienced. I think he's just really idealistic.
He is very idealistic.
And so
he's kind of like, he's like Akiba Red, but not a terrible person.
yeah. Well,
He's a terrible person, but in a different way.
In a different way.
They're all, I mean, most of them are all terrible people. But
Blue is an idiot.
Blue is my favorite.
But he is the best
He
character.
is a dumbass of the highest order, but he's like, every time he's, because Blue, you think of, I think of somebody like Joe from Gokaiger, where that's kind of what he reminds me of.
That's who he's supposed to be.
He's super cool. He's always got that, 1,000-yard stare, and he's so cool about everything.
That 1,000-yard stare ends about 5 feet away.
Yes, and he's an idiot.
But he is
one of my favorite conversations in the first episode is Red is very upset that somebody spilled soy sauce inside of their giant robot. And he holds up a little container, and Blue is like, yes, that was me. He's like, why did you bring soy sauce? And Blue's like, would you preferred Kuzumachu instead? That's not the point! You don't bring food into the giant robot!
And then Red just looks at him supremely confused, and Blue's just like, hold on.
Every time he turns his head in the first episode, you get that shing.
I love it. I love it so much.
Every sentence is like, da-da-da-da-da, shing, da-da-da-da-da-da.
And it's always the most stupid conversation.
It's the stupidest comments. And then later when they're at the karaoke bar, because this is Red very early on in his team leader experience, he doesn't quite know the team yet.
We'll explain exactly how the way that this format mostly works. It's right after the battle.
This is always after the battle.
They talk about sometimes things that happen in the battle.
Yep.
And then they realize they're not doing well, and their company keeps trying to shut them down. And they end up going to the karaoke bar after, and Red always gets interrupted while he's singing.
He sings terribly. He'll get 3 words into the song, and then it'll just say to be continued in freeze frame. And it's always freeze framing on him and while he's in mid-song and he's completely drunk.
The way that we're doing it, we're going to flip this one a little bit because the characters are the story in this. So we can talk about the characters first. Yeah, we can talk about the characters first instead of at the end.
Right.
Pink.
Is she your favorite? Is she your favorite? Because she is the pettiest, cheapest piece of crap you will ever meet.
The whole first episode is them trying to figure out ways to make her pay.
I think it's the second one.
Is it?
I think that's the second one.
I know it's an early episode.
It's an early episode, but every time the bill comes when they're at the restaurant getting their drinks and their food, she always goes to the bathroom when the bill comes. And she stays there until they pay it. And they're just trying to figure out how to get her to stay long enough. So they wait until she comes back from the bathroom and they're like, okay, we're going to keep her here until the bill gets here. We're not going to ask for it until she gets back. And then she's like, oh, but I have to go call my grandma.
No, she keeps making a whole bunch of other excuses.
Oh, yeah, it's excuse after excuse after excuse. And then she gets to, I have to call grandma.
And then Red keeps shutting her down until grandma comes up.
Yes. And then he's like, Red's physicality in this is wonderful. Whenever he pushes the button to call for the waiter, he goes he does a pose, and Pink calls him out on it.
And she's like, "What are you doing?"
She's like, "Why are you, And he's like, "It's a reflex."
Yellow, the first yellow,
because there's
Buffalo Goro A.
Yes,
is hilarious.
Is such a great stab at older Rangers / the overweight ones that we don't see them anymore.
Yeah.
Again, that's more of a Showa thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I became a Yellow Ranger. I became a hero because I wanted to eat curry. Which he says while he's drunk. And that's a thing that the original Key Ranger was known for.
Yeah. And Volt Panther.
Yes.
But Red's like, I don't think they do that anymore.
That doesn't happen anymore. No. And he also has he's either got really weak deltoids or a frozen shoulder because he can't raise his arms. He can only, because one of my favorite moments, that screenshot here where they're practicing their
pose,
their team pose and roll call, and everyone's got their arms raised up, and he's just because he can't go any higher.
It's so
and then they change it on the spot so where nobody has to raise their arms.
Yeah.
And it's they have to lean back and lift it up because he can't raise his arms.
It's so good.
It's so awkward and so silly, but I love it.
He's just so old, and that makes him honestly probably one of the funnier characters in this show.
He is, yeah.
Just because he is just old. Green is, I think, actually
he's not old, but he's older than the rest of his team.
Well, they always make him forcibly retire.
Yes.
But Green is the actual youngest person in this cast.
Yes. He looks it too.
Yeah, he's the big gamer. And his whole reason for wanting to become, like, you know, a member of the team, it was like, I used to blow up monsters in games. And I saw that they were having a live call for this. He was like, I bet I can blow up monsters in real life. And then he does, and he was like, I'm satisfied.
He's also the one who really can't handle his alcohol.
At all.
Because the one time they get him, like, really drunk, he just immediately stands up, takes his weapon, and just throws it at one of the waiters.
He's the only one who has a legitimate weapon. He has the boomerang like the Ranger did.
Yes.
And he just likes to throw it and actually use it in show. I love, speaking of like the weapons, they have really cheap effects for like the swords.
Everything in this is like the cheapest effects possible.
Especially
like,
because they're not swords, they're like daggers.
Yeah, they're like little daggers. And it's great.
It lights up blue and sparks come off it.
And one of my favorite motivation though for joining the team was Blue's.
It's so convoluted.
It's so convoluted, but it's so funny where he's like, I chose to be a hero because
I walked past a soba shop.
It was a soba shop, yeah. And because Red is like hearing everyone's reasons for wanting to do it. He's like, oh, you all are idiots. I did it because I wanted to be a hero. You're all dumb. And then Blue was like, well, there was this soba shop. My father used to take me there every day after work. And every day we passed this pile of newspapers and I noticed that nobody was delivering them. And then I realized I was supposed to deliver them.
And Red is looking at him like... And then of course...
It's just so silly. I love it.
Now they do have... We're going to talk about this ally first.
Okay.
And then we'll keep going on. The Chief, Lame Gold.
Yes.
Just lame gold.
Lame Gold. Literally,
the worst person in this show.
He is their commander, who wanted to be a ranger, so he just chose to be a ranger, and now he won't leave them alone.
He doesn't come in often.
No, but the episode where this will segue nice into into our next characters, because the episode where he shows up for the first time, they spend the entire episode just trying to get rid of him
because they can't stand him,
and they can't stand him. He's just being annoying and obnoxious, and he's not a good ranger or fighter at all,
or a good person.
He's
just a terrible person.
And I love how he, like, physically, he seems to be, like, the most out of shape out of all of them.
Which is saying something, because Yellow exists.
He's like a balding, older, like, he's much older than Yellow. He's got to be in, like, his 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
He's got a little mustache. And he just doesn't, he's like, squeezed into this costume that, like, the rest of them doesn't seem to properly fit.
And Pink... I love how Pink is the most passive-aggressive one here.
She's extremely passive-aggressive.
Because she cannot stand him.
No.
And it's so funny because she just looks at him with the most disgust. And I'm just like, I get it, girl. Now, before we actually talk about the villains...
Yes, because that will segue into the villains, because at the end, they get him to leave because the villains... the commander of their villain organization...
before we get to them, because there is one other character that we do have to talk about.
Right.
New Yellow. The girl.
Okay. So, old Yellow is forced to retire because he's old and can't lift his arms. So, he gets forced to retire, and then a new Yellow gets brought in, and it's this really pretty girl. She gets brought in.
Pink can't stand her.
Pink can't stand her because Red, Blue, and Green are all like, ooh, she's pretty. I want to date her.
And Pink is just like, I'm not the only girl anymore. The fuck is that?
And she's like, you never acted this way around me. What gives? Am I not beautiful enough for you? Excuse me. And she can't stand Yellow at all. And once again, it's that passive-aggressive disgust. And Yellow is like the moe office wife fantasy of everyone's dreams.
She's the sweet one.
She is the sweet one. She's always apologizing. She's always very nice. She's always very considerate. And she's always apologizing. And everyone's like, oh, you're so cute. We love you. And then we spend the next couple of episodes with red, blue, and green are all trying to woo her as Pink just gets more and more frustrated with this.
Hates this. She hates it so much.
And then
she gets pregnant.
Yes! After they all confess their feelings, they're like, it's like, we're gonna be men and we're gonna accept whoever she chooses, and whoever she chooses, we're gonna choose. And then she comes into the karaoke room and she's like, I'm pregnant, I'm leaving for maternal leave for several months. And then she just kind of bows and leaves. And then everyone just kind of passes out, and Yellow just laughs Pink just laughs maniacally at their misfortune. And my favorite reaction was Blue, because again, he still keeps like the cool 1,000-yard stare going, but his eyes are like wider now, and he's just like... He's posed like this on the couch,
good.
sitting up,
and then
all the while Pink is just like laughing at them. But of course, Blue he chooses a song and then he just like goes into a trance.
And then Old Yellow comes back, and Pink is the only one happy to see him.
Yes,
everyone else
is dejected and sad.
All right, now let's talk about the villains:
the Commander and the Combatant, who are
Showa-era villains and Kamen Rider minion.
Yes.
Key.
Yes. Except it's not this, it's this.
Like, not again.
Not again. And I love the Commander's makeup.
It's so white and just like barely purple.
It's white with like the purple eyeshadow that like cat eyes out. Very Showa-esque, and it's very silly looking. He looks like Grandpa got into the Halloween makeup, and I love it.
And he's the chef at the restaurant.
He's the chef at the restaurant, and then afterwards they book a room at the karaoke bar and spy on the
After V
on the well, it's Treasure 5.
It's not.
Is their actual name,
it's not.
But because they are only known for their after battle drinking sessions, that's why everyone calls them After 5. Yes.
But honestly, I love Pink, I love Blue, but the Commander is my favorite.
I like the Commander a lot. In the first episode, where they're poking fun at the trope of the monsters only seem to ever attack Japan, and it's like, why do they only attack Tokyo, specifically Tokyo, because that's where we are. Why don't they attack somewhere else, like Brazil? You know, where we don't live.
Which is the basis of the first episode of the second season.
And then we cut to the Commander spying on them, slowly pulls his phone out, enters a couple of things in it, flight to Rio de Janeiro, like 300,000 yen for a round trip, and he just goes...
They don't have a lot of money.
They don't have a lot of money.
That's basically like the point of the Commander, why he's working there, not just to spy on them, but because they need money.
Because he needs money. To fund his criminal organization.
And to fund his monsters.
Yes. It's great.
I love it so much. The Commander he's that sweet, like, he's the evil old man, but he's like the sweetest person.
Yeah.
And I honestly loved him, especially at the end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
This whole first season,
because at the end of the season, they get the season ends in them drinking after they've killed the final monster. Well, and they've only fought the Commander.
It's like the episode before that, and the very last episode, Yellow was talking about the fact that he lost his gem in the bathroom because he's an idiot. He lost a gem in his chest, and apparently he took it to a pawn shop before, and they were apparently worth a lot of money. They're not fake. Like they all thought they were.
Yeah. Which they look, to be fair.
Yeah, they're worth a lot of money.
Yep.
And Red is talking about how their higher-ups are having a meeting about how they might be getting dissolved now that the Commander is not really around anymore because he doesn't have enough money to really do anything now. Yep. And I love, one, because the Commander loves his subordinate.
Yes.
Like a father loves his son. And
yes.
The way that the monsters are created is that they're made from people. Mm-hmm. Like Daleks or something. But they're made for people, and his subordinate was made into the last monster before they fought the Commander.
Yeah.
And his subordinate is in the hospital, and he's like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for his medical bills.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to
an oddly touching moment.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to end up keep going with the organization. I don't feel as good about the organization as I once did. I just don't feel like evil is the way for me anymore.
The evil just lost its spark.
And they do also have a store manager who sort of ends up falling in with him later on.
Yeah.
But after the After 5 members end up finding out that they're going to end up getting canceled, they end up... The commander is going to quit.
Yes.
One, he's going to end up quitting because apparently he also started some tofu shop at the same time. And it's just like, the money is... He can't do both jobs anymore. So he has to quit in the restaurant. The After 5 members are figuring out that the chef is him.
Yes.
Because, some people just look alike. And, and so they're like, all right, he needs money. We have these gems after Yellow's was given back to him by the commander from Twitter.
Twitter is a thing in this show.
I love it. I think it's amazing. But he ends up giving Yellow his gem back. They're just like, all right, he needs money. We need money. Let's go ahead and become party team.
Kampai Senshi Woohoo 5.
And so they end up having
and it's them in their same suits. They're just like
with a mask on,
but with a masquerade mask over their visor. And we get this lovely scene of them fighting him, where they just give him their gems and then they just leave.
Yeah. Because if you keep your job, we keep
our job. Mutually beneficial for everybody.
But I love how really the entire, especially the ending, after they find out that it is him, there's this odd feeling of respect. And I think that got to me more than anything else throughout the rest of the show. It was just the respect that they end up having for each other and how much the commander was actually helping them throughout the show. I love season 1.
I do too.
Season 1
is quite good.
It's so good. It leaves on such a good note. I think that's the thing that makes it even better.
It does.
It's just this is positive, and I'm here for positivity. Season 2. I still like this season. It's not as good as season 1, but there are some hilarious moments in this.
I was not a fan of this season.
When Red is about to, after they end up getting their gems back from the commander, in the most hilarious way possible, because they're at the karaoke bar, and the commander tried to give them their gems in a hot pot earlier where they were at a new restaurant.
Yeah. It's a new restaurant, I believe, a new karaoke place as well.
Yeah, that's in Fukuoka this time.
Yes.
So apparently, they using the money that they got from the gems, the commander and Key ended up starting a worldwide chain of restaurants. And the commander has clones to manage every single restaurant. And he's just like, oh my god, they're not attacking just Tokyo anymore. Yeah, so one of the lines
that's how it opens. It opens with the villain has spread. It's the villain organization has spread itself across the globe. Ooh,
that's so good because it's the direct opposite of the complaint they had at the beginning of season 1, where they're just attacking Tokyo. Not anymore. And I love that about this. And then Red, they end up getting the gems back, and Red's like, I don't like having to depend on this guy to keep a job, because he wasn't completely okay with it to begin with. But then he ends up just I'm too heroic. I don't like this.
I must be a hero.
Now, what's your problem with season 2?
How do I best put this into words? I think it all started with the opening theme song of season 2.
Oh, and they actually put words to it?
It's not that they actually put words to it, because there were words, I believe, to the first one. But you know how in season 1's opening, there's they try to do the forced perspective, but it's a 4-foot difference?
Yeah.
In this one, it's they had a higher budget for season 2.
They did. But it still felt cheap. It really did.
Here's the problem. It didn't feel cheap enough. I don't think it felt cheap enough. Because they show him do a forced perspective kick, but it looks like it connects.
It doesn't show that.
That one little difference. It was just kind of
And the way that I can tell that they still sort of did that is because when Pink does the kick,
yeah,
she's on the stairs.
Yep.
but the combatant is still too low, and the force detective is like still like the combatant's here, Pink is over here. It's like the cake goes here.
There was just something about the whole look. It's like the whole look of the show. It still felt cheap, but it felt like a glossed up version of cheap. Like they went from dollar store to Five Below. That makes any sense?
It does, but it's still incredibly cheap.
It is incredibly cheap, but it wasn't just that. It was jumping right from season 1 into season 2.
Oh right, you didn't have that break.
No, I didn't have that break like you did when you watched season 2 as it aired, with a nice break in between. Going directly into it, it's not as funny. I didn't think it was as clever. It didn't poke as much fun at the tropes as season 1 did. Except for that bit in the beginning with the whole evil organization is expanding, which
treasure five.
Yes. Yeah. That was funny.
Oh, God.
So that was funny, yeah, and that like poking fun at that and that callback to season 1, that was nice. But on the whole, I just didn't find the season that funny.
I sort of did, especially when the commander ended up transforming himself into the waitress who looked just like New Yellow.
Yeah.
That whole subplot was so weird, but I loved it. Because this time it just focused on Red. And they ended up saying the same lines. Sometimes people just look like other people. But it's not supposed to be. But the commander almost is falling for it, and I'm sitting here like, that's amazing. Just get that to me.
That should have been the show.
It should have.
That should have been the whole show.
It was just so weird. And I love how you can really see that the commander wants to take a real backseat in this season and really like actually give up the evil organization. But then Blue basically comes in as a new combatant and just is apparently an evil genius.
Who knew?
It was all in the 1,000-yard stare.
It was all in that 1,000-yard stare. This is the 1 yard ahead that he was looking towards.
That's the thing I remember most, especially from when I originally watched this. That's the thing I remember the most from season 2, where just Blue decided to play as an evil guy, but he's actually really, really good at it. And the commander is like, the hell? Who are you?
Where the heck was this?
And I love how you can see as the plots especially start going more along with Blue giving him more things to do that turn out to be extremely evil. The commander's like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. This doesn't feel right. And then his subordinate, who at the new restaurant is his manager, is just, he doesn't like the new guy, and he doesn't like what it's doing to the commander. So once again, the story does end up off on a good point where the commander just more or less gives up again.
Also, they get dissolved again.
Yeah, they do.
And they all get different jobs, and they sound like the worst jobs ever.
They do.
Where it's like I am in
eternal depression.
What does Yellow say he's in? It's like materials.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm in materials. What do? Nothing. I just work with materials all day long. It's like I sort mail is what Blue does. He just works in the mail department, like working with mail.
Hey, he wanted to deliver something.
Yeah.
So he got to deliver mail.
Yeah, at least you remembered this time.
But I still like season 2. There is supposed to be a season 3 in a movie.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm sitting here like,
what would you do with it? I wonder. Either one.
I don't know what a new season would be like. I feel like a movie would be somehow more budget but less stuff done. So I think that's the thing that they all had to do. I just don't know exactly what it would be like.
Oh, you know what they should do?
What?
Crossover with the After 5 equivalent of Kamen Rider.
That would be amazing.
That's what they need to do.
It would just be.
That's what season 3 needs to be. And then the movie is their crossover.
You know, it'd be great because just speaking of crossing over with the Kamen Rider, I feel like the Kamen Rider should end up being the guy that was going to replace Red when he was thinking about quitting at the beginning of season 2. That would because that guy was just so nice. And they just didn't know how to, like, they all loved him, but Red hated him.
Yeah.
Because he was going to take in his spot. Two, he's just too nice.
Yep. There's that. Oh my! Can you imagine the amount of tropes and like things they'd be able to make fun of and spoof if they did Kamen Rider?
It shouldn't be its own show just because it's one person, maybe two. They just have to go the show around.
No, it would be like 2 person, but then like we get more and more useless side characters
who
just do nothing, and then that would be great. We could have Decade in there somewhere.
He'd show up. But yeah, I still greatly enjoy both. It
ends with like him becoming a space god, but he still goes to the bar to drink.
What else would he do? I mean, that's something he would do as it is. He does have his own.
It's YouTube like, oh wait, where's your secondary rider? I'm drinking alone tonight. Because that's what a Kamen Rider does.
He does have his own YouTube channel, so that would be interesting. Because he's hilarious on there. But yeah, I still greatly enjoy this show as a whole. It's just a fun show to just sit there and watch and really not take too seriously. Because you're not supposed to.
Well, no.
It's just a fun show to watch. And I think that's
Absolutely
the thing that matters the most here.
Mm-hmm.
It's
especially when it's a silly comedy like this.
Yeah. It's a low... what's the word I'm looking for? Not so much low energy.
Low key
type of show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just... This is a show to relax to. But also laugh at.
Yes.
Because it is funny.
If you're a fan of awkward and uncomfortable humor, if you are a fan of pettiness, if you're a fan of silly characters being stupid, this is a good show to watch.
It's just
and also if you're a fan of spoofs, if you're a fan of
Akiba Ranger, but on a much lower scale.
Yes.
Although it's funny because this show came on...
I like this show a lot more than Akiba Ranger.
I put them... They're two very different shows.
They are two very different shows, but in terms of Super Sentai parodies, I think this one is a lot funnier.
It is very funny. The thing is about this is that this show took over the spot if Akiba Ranger was going to have a third season.
Yeah.
This show took over that slot.
This show needs to cross over with Akiba Ranger.
Oh, God.
I want to see this crossover with Akiba Ranger.
I feel like the only way that the crossover will work is as if the characters are just in the background drinking at another table.
I don't know.
I feel like they shouldn't interact with each other. That would just be such a hilarious homage, and then Red freaking out in the background.
Wait, which team are you? We are Treasure 5.
Who?
After 5? Oh, yeah.
I get it.
I want to see a versus movie with those two teams.
It would just be them drinking.
That's it. That's it. It's a drinking contest. It's a drinking contest, and then they get and then Akiba Rangers get super drunk. The delusions get super strong. It gets so strong that the After Fives get sucked into it, and they have to fight their way out of delusions. That'd be great.
But yeah, let us know what you think about this show in the comments below.
Please do.
And next time, we'll be doing the Netflix Ultraman show, which is a good thing because it did get greenlit for season 2.
That's sweet.
So yeah.
So hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I still haven't seen. I saw like the first 2 episodes.
I haven't watched it yet.
I'm going to watch it obviously soon, and it's only like 12 episodes, so
true.
That's a day. See you later, people. Don't forget to join us in all the things, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.